constant battle for attention, validation, or control. You're never really yourself, always caught in the narcissist's web of manipulation. Yet somehow, you're still drawn to them. But what happens when you finally wake up and stop playing their games? What if one day, you just stop caring about their manipulation, their need for admiration, their drama-filled cycles? Would they notice? How would they react? What happens to a narcissist when their source of supply, the person feeding their inflated sense of self, suddenly walks away or disengages? This is not only an essential question for anyone trying to navigate a toxic relationship with a narcissist, but one that reveals the underlying mechanics of narcissistic personalities. In this video, we will dive deep into the mind of a narcissist and explore how they react when they realize you no longer care about their games. From the initial confusion and disbelief to the desperate attempts to regain control, we'll break down exactly what happens when you stop feeding their insatiable need for admiration. Stick with us, and by the end of this discussion, you'll have a clear understanding of how narcissists operate, and how you can finally break free from their manipulative grasp. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. You're not going to want to miss the valuable insights we'll be covering today. If you've ever felt stuck in a relationship with someone who seems to demand constant attention, or if you've ever tried to break free from someone who made everything about them, this video is for you. To start, let's talk about the narcissist's world. A narcissist's life revolves around the concept of validation. Everything they do, from their charming behavior to their occasional outbursts of arrogance, is designed to get a reaction. But not just any reaction. Narcissists crave admiration, praise, and most importantly, they need to feel superior to others. This is their source of emotional fuel. Without it, their carefully constructed world begins to collapse. So what happens when you stop being part of their audience, stop responding to their games, and decide that your life matters more than their ego? The first thing you'll likely notice is their reaction of confusion. Narcissists are used to getting what they want, when they want it, without much resistance. When they no longer get the attention or validation they so desperately seek, they often fail to comprehend the change. Initially, they might believe that you're simply distracted or going through a phase. They'll come around, they think. After all, they've been the center of your world for so long. Why wouldn't you want to continue being drawn into their drama? However, as time passes and they notice that their usual tactics, whether it's charm, guilt-tripping, or manipulation, aren't working, the narcissist begins to feel a sense of panic. For them, this isn't just a minor setback. It's an existential crisis. The carefully constructed illusion they've built of being admired, respected, or feared begins to crack. Their ego, which is highly fragile beneath the surface of their self-assurance, begins to fray. This is when you start to see them react in unpredictable and often extreme ways. The next stage of their reaction typically involves an attempt at reasserting control. This might look like sudden bursts of charm, where the narcissist becomes extra attentive, apologetic, and overly kind. Anything to pull you back into their sphere of influence. They might even resort to flattery, telling you how much they need you, how you are irreplaceable, and how much they admire your strength. But don't be fooled. This is all part of the game. They're not apologizing out of genuine remorse. They're doing it to regain their power over you. Narcissists don't understand or care about true emotional connection. They only care about maintaining control and ensuring that they are the focal point of your attention. If the charm offensive doesn't work, the narcissist will likely escalate their tactics. This might involve playing the victim, shifting blame, or trying to manipulate you into feeling guilty. They may accuse you of abandoning them, of being ungrateful, or even of being emotionally unavailable. Their aim is to make you feel responsible for their emotional state. In some cases, narcissists might even spread rumors about you, or turn other people against you. This is a more insidious tactic designed to isolate you and regain their influence through others. In some cases, narcissists might simply lose interest, and move on to a new target. This might seem like a relief to you, but it's important to understand that this shift in focus doesn't signify that they've given up on you. Narcissists are always looking for new sources of validation, and when they sense that you're no longer feeding into their ego, they often look elsewhere for fresh supply. This may seem like a good thing at first, but don't be surprised if they eventually try to re-enter your life when their new source loses its shine. But what happens when the narcissist realizes that their usual tactics have completely failed? This can lead to a final phase where they lash out in a desperate attempt to regain their sense of control. In some cases, this may manifest as anger or even rage. The narcissist might accuse you of being unappreciative, selfish, or cruel. They might try to provoke you into reacting, as their ego cannot bear the thought of being ignored. The key here is to recognize that these reactions are not personal. They are not a reflection of who you are. They are a reflection of the narcissist's inability to cope with the loss of their emotional supply. You might be wondering at this point, why does this happen? Why do narcissists react this way when you no longer care about their games? The answer lies in the very nature of narcissism. Narcissistic personalities are rooted in insecurity. Beneath the confident facade, they are often deeply fragile and dependent on external validation to maintain their sense of self-worth. When you stop playing their game, they are forced to confront the reality of their inadequacy and emptiness. Their entire identity is built on the approval of others, and when that foundation is shaken, they have no choice but to lash out or retreat. It's important to note that the narcissist's reaction is not necessarily a sign of their love or attachment to you. While it may seem like they're fighting for the relationship, they're actually fighting for their ego. They need to feel superior, admired, and validated, and if you no longer provide that, they will react in any way necessary to regain that control. Their behavior may seem erratic, but it's all part of a pattern designed to ensure that they remain at the center of your attention. So, what can you do when you find yourself no longer caring about their games? The first and most important thing is to stay firm in your boundaries. Narcissists thrive on your reactions, so when you refuse to engage, they lose their power. Resist the urge to get drawn back into their manipulative cycles. This might mean limiting or cutting off contact entirely. It might mean sticking to your decision, even when they try to manipulate you with guilt or charm. Another crucial step is to protect your own emotional health. Narcissists are exhausting, and their behavior can take a significant toll on your mental and emotional well-being. By detaching emotionally and setting clear boundaries, you create the space you need to heal and regain your sense of self. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope this video has provided valuable insights into how narcissists react when you stop caring about their games. If you found this information helpful, please like this video, share it with others who may need it, and subscribe for more discussions like this. If you're navigating a relationship with a narcissist, remember, you are not alone, and there is always a way to regain control of your life and your peace. Stay strong, and take care of yourselves. Imagine being in a relationship where everything feels like a constant battle for attention, validation, or control. You're never really yourself, always caught in the narcissist's web of manipulation. Yet somehow, you're still drawn to them. But what happens when you finally wake up and stop playing their games? What if one day, you just stop caring about their manipulation, their need for admiration, their drama-filled cycles? Would they notice? How would they react? What happens to a narcissist when their source of supply, the person feeding their inflated sense of self, suddenly walks away or disengages? This is not only an essential question for anyone trying to navigate a toxic relationship with a narcissist, but one that reveals the underlying mechanics of narcissistic personalities.